So hear me out. Everybody has their own perception of an attainable dream car. And okay, by no stretch is a RAV4 my dream car at all, but it's a car that I've always found interesting and I've always wanted to either drive one or own one. Now this isn't my car, this is my mom's brand new to her and us 2009 RAV4 Limited V6 4x4 or four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, whatever you want to call it. But this is Miss Mocha. Okay, so here's the deets. This is a 2009 RAV4 Limited V6 in pyrite mica. I'm really happy that I found a RAV4 in this color for her because first, she likes brown cars, because if any of you have watched the previous videos with Odessa, her Odyssey, it was gold. So, you know, obviously there's a trend going on. But the color just really pops in the sun. And for a RAV4, it's kind of different because a lot of the RAV4s that you see on the road, especially in this generation, are painted in depressing colors like a really light blue, silver, gray, black. So we picked this car up last Saturday. Today is May 2nd, so a week ago. And the car has 149,000 miles on it. And really, from the way how it looks inside and out, and the way how it drives, you would not be able to notice at all. I think this car has almost every option that you could get on a RAV4, except the navigation system, which was pretty dated, and I'd switch that out anyway, and the tow package, which she's never gonna tow anything with this car. So I wanted to talk about some likes and dislikes that I've accumulated in the past week. Obviously, this is my mom's car, so she has her own opinions, and she seems like she's liked it. When I ask her, she likes it. She doesn't want to talk on camera. The first thing that I like about this car is that it's smaller than the Odyssey that we had, because this thing, when it's in the garage, there's so much more space. With the Honda, there was like 2 inches in the front and the back, but obviously because it's a RAV4, it's smaller. The main reason why I like this car, and the main reason why I showed her this one when I found it, is the V6. Obviously, because a 2.5 liter RAV4 or a 2.4 if it's an earlier one, they're not slow, but they're just more boring. The V6 makes this less boring, at least when I drive it. And the 5-speed auto that is paired to this engine is also really good. Of course, it's not going to be like a Lexus RX with the smoothness of it, but it's still really good. The engine and transmission combination are so smooth. I also would like to mention how comfortable the car is. This car has, I think, their 8-way power adjustable driver's seat. The passenger seat is manual, which that's okay, but the seats are really comfortable. Obviously, they're not going to be as comfortable as like my Volvo seats. Old Volvos have really comfortable seats. It's like a glove holding you. The only real issue that I've had with this car that I can say, or the only two, is there is a bit of road noise, but I think that's because of the tires. This car has, I don't know, 2 or 3 year old Michelins on it. And I know, and I don't know if you guys know, but when some Michelin tires get old, they start to make noise, and this is definitely starting to make some noise. I also want to say that when you open and close the doors, they don't have the best quality noise to it. Like, listen. it just kind of sounds a little bit hollow. So there were also some honorable and memorable contenders for my mom's new vehicle. I wrote them down on my phone. Now, these do have a trend, and there's one car that doesn't mix into the group. So it was the 2010 to 2012 Lexus RX 350. That car was just a little bit bigger than what she wanted, and she didn't really want a Lexus, and it was a little bit more expensive. I wanted to get her in a used XC60, most likely a 2011 to 2013 or 14, just because I tried to get her on Team Volvo, but she didn't want a Volvo. I was also looking at the 2010 to 2013 or 14 Venza. The Venza is a nice car. It's a Toyota. It has the same powertrain as this car. I was also looking at the 2009 to 2012, 2013 CRV. That was our biggest backup plan. It was either a RAV4 or a CRV, but for some reason that generation of CRV just seemed even more boring than a third gen RAV4. And when we came to the conclusion of finding a RAV4, I know she likes cars with the spare tires on the back, so I was like, okay, it's gonna be a third gen. Because I know, and my dad has told me, ever since the second gen 4Runner came out in 1991.
Introducing the totally redesigned 1990 four-wheel drive Toyota 4Runner.
And those early models had a spare tire on the back. I know she's like those because he's told me. So I know she likes that the car has a spare tire on the back. Let me know, Mom. So I will answer this question that you may have and my mom had. Why would you get a car that's only a few years younger, that has maybe 20 or 30,000 less miles, and consider it an upgrade? I consider it an upgrade and a downsize, and I'll still consider it an upgrade because I still think this is a nice car, and also all the maintenance records. Okay, so this is the bread and the butter of why I wanted my mom to get this car. This is the 3.5 liter 2GR FE V6. It makes 269 horsepower and somewhere around the same amount of torque. That's something I forgot off my head. But it's paired to that 5-speed automatic that was used in a bunch of other Toyotas. Also, when I drive it, I could have a little bit of fun because this, at the time, that's something exciting. At the time, in 2009, well, from like 06 to 2012, when the V6 RAV4 was produced, this was the fastest Toyota of its time. Because the Supra wasn't out in 2006, so this was the fastest Toyota of the mid-2000s. Also, adding on to being the fastest Toyota of the mid-2000s, the new RAV4 Prime is actually the second fastest Toyota right after the Supra. So I actually know someone with the RAV4 Prime, Sofyan at Redline Reviews. He has one. So eventually we're going to do a V6 RAV4 versus Prime drag race or comparison. So that's also going to be pretty fun, seeing the two fastest Toyota RAV4s in existence. But for service records, this car had a very extensive Carfax. It was serviced at the same Toyota dealership every 5,000 miles, and the Carfax really shows to prove it. And just the way how the engine sounds, drives, and the way how it handles, which I did want to mention. I like how this car handles. The steering is tight, it's a little bit sporty, it doesn't roll a lot. I'd like to see how the Limited is compared to a V6 Sport RAV4, but that's enough of that. So before we went and picked up this car, I looked at the Carfax pretty extensively. And like I said, every 5,000 miles at Toyota, there were not many memorable or big expenses, just routine maintenance. Like they literally followed the service interval book. So anything that has needed to be done at 150,000 miles and below that has been done. It's been in 2 accidents. There was one in the front, I think, and they were both considered minor. I know some people, if they bump into a wall or something, they claim it under insurance and then get it fixed. So that's probably what happened. There was one in the front and one on the side. I don't know, but I can't really tell anything. There was no frame damage. I looked at it inside, outside, underneath, everywhere. The car seems fine. There's no creaks or rattles. So I think it's pretty solid. So this is a tour of Miss Mocha, my mom's 2009 Toyota RAV4 V6 Limited 4x4. Honestly, I just washed it and I put clay on it and I waxed it. So it really brings out that pyrite mica. It really is a beautiful color. There are a few things that I want to do. You can definitely see the first thing that I want to do is refinish the headlights. So I'm going to wet sand and buff and polish them. This car, since I'm about to talk about that, the wheels. On all four wheels, the paint is chipping. So I think I want to repaint these wheels, and I'm not sure if I should paint them in the OEM silver or in gunmetal. I'm thinking gunmetal, like my XC90. Something else that surprised me. Well, first, I like that the spare tire is on the back. It just kind of has that classic RAV4 look. But the trunk is surprisingly big. So these could come with a third row. This one obviously doesn't have it. Why would you need a third row in a car so small? But it really surprised me how much storage is underneath the main trunk compartment. And then it has this like little parcel net. And then the, how does this work? The luggage tray, well, the cover, the tonneau cover. I need to figure out how to get that to work. Maybe I put it upside down? I don't know, whatever. But you can just see the interior of this car is impeccably clean. It has the 60/40 split rear seat. This one is the Limited, so it has all leather, and it's the beige. And look at the paint. It looks so nice. It's a really clean car, inside and out. This car has 149,000 miles on it, and you wouldn't really be able to tell. It drives great. Engine is really smooth. Let's see here. Cycle through the trip. I hate that beep. But yeah, 149,871 miles. It's a really clean car inside. We're going to change out the head unit. I'll probably talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the interior of these RAV4s was pretty basic to begin with. It does have dual zone climate, an air filtration system, push button start, obviously. This is the all-wheel drive lock button. I'm gonna try that out eventually. It has the dual center, glove box, and the center console here. But yeah, it's a pretty clean car. I know this is my mom's car, but I have to do some little things to make our cars unique. I want to make this car unique, not too unique, but just so you know, this is my mom's car, because her Odyssey had different wheels from a newer Odyssey on it, and everyone in the area knew, hey, that's his mom's car. So I want that to be similar with Mocha. What I want to do is change the color of the wheels. The wheels need to be repainted on this because they're corroded. I don't really know how the corrosion comes up from these, but my dad's old 4Runner that I reviewed also had corrosion on the wheels. So since they need to be repainted on this, I want to change the color. And since this is for my mom, I kind of want to keep up the classy look of it. So now I can't really figure out what color I want the wheels to be. I was thinking about a slightly darker gray, not like a dark gunmetal like my XC90, because I think that would be too gray with brown. But I really don't know what color goes with brown. I don't know if I should just repaint them in the same color. I just want something to look a little bit more interesting. She also did like having navigation in her Odyssey, so I am going to install a new head unit that has Apple CarPlay and all the things that she would use. I'll also put a backup camera on it. The car does have a backup camera, but it's up in the mirror, and apparently it's a little bit too complicated to reroute the camera, so I already ordered it. So that'll be a video. The wheels will be a video. And there we have it. I've finally been able to show you Mocha, my mom's RAV4. There's a bunch of videos that I plan on making with this car. I want to take it off-road, at least to Green Ridge, where it's easy. The car won't get muddy. It's more dirt. But I want to use the all-wheel drive lock button. But at least once I'd like to take it off-road, and you'll see a video on that. I also definitely plan on filming a full review of the car, just because I think people that are interested in looking at these can see the ownership side of things and also learning everything they would like to learn about a 3rd gen RAV4 and just RAV4s in general. So definitely stay tuned for the videos upcoming with Mocha. I'm really happy she's a part of the family, and I hope that you welcome her with open arms just as much as we are. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, peeps.